he is on your left.
A little bit of color.
Is that what? So what is that design? Plaid, or like what do they call that? Do you know?
I guess that would qualify as plaid. Obviously, it's kind of a lighter shade and like more popular color combination than you would typically associate. But I don't know what else you would call that.
So like, there's definitely a name for that style of shirt. I don't know if it's plaid or not. That's my jam right now. Monochromatic dress shirts, not for me. Mm-hmm. You got to have the checker and some mixing in of some bright colors, preferably pink or purple. That's my thing.
That's your thing?
That's my thing.
That is not my thing.
I know that.
Grays, blues, blacks.
I think for one show at some point, because we've been doing this for so long, we should reverse wardrobe.
Be so much fun.
You should wear one of my really just bright shirt and ties, and it will pain me to wear something.
Do you still have the creamsicle?
Which one is that?
Do you remember the orange one?
I honestly, last weekend, I donated all of my old dress shirts to Goodwill.
Awesome.
Because I've outgrown them. I've lost so much weight, and I was thinking about. I don't know if like stores do this, like the Men's Warehouse, where you can like trade in the clothes and get money back or something. And I was thinking about looking it up, and I was like, screw that. And I just went to Goodwill and just gave them all away.
Good for you.
Yeah. Gingham? Come on, that can't be real.
That is a response that would cause my father to roll his eyes.
Yeah, gingham? Like Gingham style or Gangnam style? Something like that. I don't know.
Unfortunately, we are old, and this stuff starts happening to you. Although it's probably some sort of classic term. I don't know.
Gingham.
I don't know. Anyhow, that is a colorful flannel shirt. The end.
I like it. That's what I can say. We're going to be underway here in a moment.
Oliver's fashion sensibility is much more in line with my own.
First of all, long sleeves. I'm not here for that.
Dress every day like you might end up at a funeral.
Yes. Long sleeves, especially today. It's like
so hot.
It's like 90 degrees,
so hot.
And those sleeves aren't even rolled up a little bit. He must be zoned in.
Yeah, I want
to. For both these players, my sleeves would be up. Yeah, I can't do it. Long sleeve shirt like that. It's like a sweatshirt, kind of.
Maybe a little sort of turtleneck action. Ugh. Anyway, I'm into it.
After how badly Osip made fun of me for wearing a turtleneck when I was 19, I'll never wear one again.
That's right. He did go in.
He ruined me so bad for wearing one that I'll never wear one again. So Osip, if you're hearing this or one of your friends are, thanks.
The all-timer for that one. We were at a PTQ. This was right after Osip had top 16 to Pro Tour. He might have top 8 at his first one at this point. And he was there hanging out. He was already qualified for the next X, however. And we were all battling. And Horvath showed up. Adam Horvath, old pro, old friend of mine. And he had his backpack on. He's playing the event. And he's got his top 8 PTQ pins on his backpack.
That's it. Boy, here we go.
And Osip sees him from across the room and goes, "What, are you showing off? You don't see me walking around here with thousands of dollars pinned to my backpack." And that was the end of it. We never saw those pins again. They were retired.
Osip, he'll light you up.
Oh, yeah.
He'll light you up. I've not worn a turtleneck since.
No.
Never will. Never will. Love you, Osip. We're underway. Scalding Tarn from Julian John. Oliver Tomajko on a dredge strategy. It is worth noting that most of these Is It Phoenix decks have moved away from surgical extraction. That's good news for dredge.
Yes. Yeah, the metagame has shifted away a little bit from all graveyard all the time. And so there's a bit of a de-emphasis of surgical extraction.
Not seeing many humans decks here this weekend, though. You would think with the win at Mythic Championship 2 in London by Eli Loveman that you would see more humans decks. Not really seeing any of them just yet this weekend.
No, human seems like a good choice to me, too.
It's always a good choice. It's never bad.
Really high floor. Really high floor.
Little Thought Scour action here. Lightning Bolts. Serum Visions into the graveyard. New card in hand. Manamorphose. Going to head over to Julian John and his gingham shirt. There's Pyromancer's Ascensions. Very popular card here this week. And I head over to Oliver. Did nothing on turn 1. Oh, boy. He's doing nothing on turn 2. This might be a short one, folks. Might be a short one. Little Manamorphose action, little Mana floating. I think Julian's just trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do here, perhaps.
I don't know. Is okay?
Oh, we're waiting on those.
There we
go. That makes a little more sense to me. Draw a card. Oliver coming in hot, changing those dice. Nothing else to do. Ain't got no spells to play. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? All right, Oliver's gonna sacrifice the Bloodstained Mire.
We got jokes.
Yeah. Gonna get a stomping ground. Faithless Looting. Powerful card. All right, draw 2, discard 2. Bloodghast, Faithless Looting. I don't think he found a land. Don't think he has another land in hand. Bad News Bears here for Tomajko.
Does he even have anything with Dredge? Although at this stage, he might be more interested in just natural draws to try to find land number 2.
He's going to discard a Bloodghast and a Dark Blast, so there's a Dredge card in the graveyard now. He's going to organize his graveyard a little bit. Great Dredge players do this, letting you know what's around that matters in the graveyard. In this instance, Bloodghast, Dark Blast, and Faithless Looting are cards that matter in the graveyard.
Gaiesky, of course, kept the tightest graveyard I've ever seen.
Yeah, duh.
He separated into 3 stacks. Cards that matter because they have Dredge or they're live in the graveyard somehow.
Okay.
Lands,
For
which
loam.
kind of don't matter, but they do matter for the purposes of loam.
Yep.
And then irrelevant.
Yeah.
The best splits.
That's right.
In order of left to right, most relevant to the opponent most of the time to least.
Here you go.
The best of us.
Do you think Oliver's going to change that die, that black die on that white on that blue counter like he did last time?
Unlikely.
You don't think so? It'd be a power move. Didn't get to it. Arclight thinks this is a pretty modest start here from Julian John. Oliver could easily get back in this game.
Yeah, but it does not take a whole lot of from John here to make it not recoverable. And it also looks like Tomajko is still yet to find land number 2.
Yeah, he just drew a card for the turn, now calculated Faithless Looting, didn't dredge the Dark Blast in the graveyard, and still can't find a land.
Having a good time, enjoying my Saturday in this swampy convention hall.
It's a little warm.
Just
hold on. That shirt could be considered Seersucker. A lightweight pinstripe or checkered pattern commonly found in the South. Seersucker is the name they're going to go with? No.
It does suggest a certain fanciness.
It should be the name of anything. You know, I still do like the shirt quite a bit. Throw a hot pink tie in there, you're good to go. No land still.
And John just passing on turn number 5, so nothing to do on his side, no cantrips.
Conflagrate for none, pardon me.
Good looking game so far.
Yeah, for both players.
Looks like Julian John's turn 4 Volshock Berserker going to be too much for Tomajko to overcome. We'll be moving on to game number 2.
Throwing in a Mirrodin reference, huh?
It's been reprinted a few times.
Is that true?
Yeah, in core sets, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, maybe. Julian John, I think, has all lands in a Flame Slash. 3 more. Just 3 more. A comically bad draw for both players. Oliver, another stinky.
Looking good.
Discard Stinkweed Imp. Back over to Julian John. 3 more. Oh my gosh, this is actually something that's probably Thing in the Ice. Yeah, just to do nothing. Go. Draw.
There it is.
Hello, Copperline Gorge. Is it time to play some Magic now, finally?
I don't know, if you have a Cathartic Reunion, you can do a lot from this spot. And now, the relatively recent edition of Creeping Chill, Dredge can actually pull itself up from these spots.
All right, Gorge, let's get back a Bloodghast to start. Pardon me, 3. Bloodghast to start. It's a lot of those.
I mean, you could just configurate here, try to answer the whole board. And Tomajko can pretty safely assume at this point that John's hand has to be lands or removal spells. It can't really be anything else.
All right, well, Conflagrate's going to take care of some stuff. Head back over to Julian, who could just use any real card to not transform, but actually turn on Pyromancer's Ascension. Maybe transform Thing in the Ice. All right, Flame Slash. See you later, Bloodghast.
Yeah, I mean, if he's got 4 spells, that's good here too.
A Set Adrift. Okay. Do a little bit of delving, get rid of some stinky lands. All right, so there go some cards. Next up, could be time for a Gutter Ball. Okay. Down to 1 counter. And now cast this. Get this back, and I think that does it, right? Yeah, it does. All right, Julian John doing it the hard way. But a win's a win's a win's a win, as they say. So Julian John wins game number 1 here over Oliver Tomajko. Is it Phoenix up a game over Dredge? Let's go to the boards. Let's start with Oliver Tomajko and his Blast Zone, his Alpine Moon, his Assassin's Trophy. There's 3 Ancient Grudge, there's 3 Lightning Axe, there's 4 Nature's Claims, and there's 2 Leyline of the Void.
Really like the Leyline of the Voids in this matchup. And past that, you want to bring in the 1 Assassin's Trophy just as sort of a generic hedge. You want to bring in the 1 Blast Zone for reasons. I'm kind of down for all of it, but I really like the ley lines here.
We'll go over to Julian John, who's got 3 Spell Pierce, 2 Narset, part of the Veils, 2 Ceremonious Rejection, 2 Blood Moon, 2 Braid, a Saheeli Sublime Artificer, a Ravenous Trap, a Chandra Torch of Defiance, and an Anger of the Gods.
Love the Anger of the Gods, the Ravenous Trap, the 2 copies of Blood Moon. I would consider bringing in the Spell Pierces as well.
Both players, good options. Tomajko looking to draw land number 2 on time here. He had plenty of time to draw it, honestly, so we'll see if things shake out a little bit differently for Oliver in game number 2. While they're working on that, speaking of the number 2, let's talk Season 2 here on the SCG Tour. We're going to kick things off in Pittsburgh. In all of our years of doing this, we've never done a show in Pittsburgh. I'm actually kind of excited to go.
We go to Philly. We go to Ohio all the time.
Well, duh.
First time in Pittsburgh. Worcester, Philly, Columbus, Richmond, Dallas, Syracuse, and Philly. Various formats. You can all check it out on the website here. A little bit easier than me reciting to them. You're just going to forget them anyway. Indianapolis, as of yet, unannounced regional championships. That's modern, October 19th. You can head over to go.starsgames.com/regionals. As we get a little bit closer to that event, we'll start having the venues and prizes set up for that. Then Atlanta, as the last show, last open in October, and then we wind it down with 1 event a month in November and December, but they're big ones. November 14th through 17th, that's SCGKY winner with the Star City Games Invitational in Roanoke, Virginia. Then to round out the year, Players Championship, December 13th through the 15th.
Playmats, I think we got them. All right, this is my first time seeing these. Captain's Quarters by Titus Lunter. So I got a skeleton and a nice chair. And this is inside. We're inside of a pirate ship.
Yes.
All right, that's some good art right there.
That's cool.
That's for our standard open and classic players. Next one, Aurora's Light by John Avon. Okay, that's obviously good because it's done. Okay, that's nice. That's probably based around like Northern Lights, maybe? Isn't that like a thing in like an Iceland or something? This looking good. I'm into this one. This is our modern open and classic players, I believe. All right, next one. What we got going on here? Ripped from Reality. Ooh.
That's intense.
Who
is that?
Mark T. That's probably
Legend.
hard to draw.
Legend.
Yeah, that's probably tough to draw. That poor Minotaur is getting destroyed right there. I believe that's for our Legacy Open and Classic players. These were made specifically for the SCG Tour. They're free and exclusive playmats with entry into any Open, Classic, Infinite Challenge, or Sealed Spectacular package. So thanks to those awesome artistes for making these for us. Go to starcitygames.com/schedule for more information. Game number 2 about to be underway here between Julian John and Oliver Tomajko. Oliver Tomajko, number 9 on the SCG Tour leaderboard. He's trying to run down everyone above him and qualify for the Players' Championship by the end of Season 1, but maybe for the end of the year, the youngest Open winner. I remember covering his Open win. Memory serves, I'm going to say Providence is where he won, and he did it with some Whip of Erebos deck.
Mono Black Devotion? Or
No, like Sultai or
oh, sure.
or Obzon.
The Sidisi style deck.
Yeah, it was something. It was mid-range soup, and he was really good at playing it. And he won that Open. He was very dominant in doing so as well. Second place last weekend in Syracuse, lost in the finals to Zan. Off to a great start here. He's very, very, very big fan of Dredge. And I have to imagine Is It Phoenix matchup is probably pretty good. He just didn't really get to operate that game.
Yeah, I mean, not really fair to draw any conclusions about the shape of the matchup from the game we just watched, where both players with absolutely pitiful draws.
Todd is calling that Minotaur ground beef yatar.
Okay.
Looked ground beef yatar? Didn't look like ground beef. It looked like he had a tough day.
Appreciate you spending your weekend with us, Todd. Thank you.
Oh, hold on. I got more information here from Mike Siegel, SCG Open Top 8 competitor. Seersucker is a fabric. Gingham is a pattern. That is a gingham shirt, and most definitely not a seersucker shirt. Wow, shots fired. There you go.
Consider me neutral on this whole what
I'm
happened.
out here trying to learn something today. I can learn from the folks over at Twitter. I'm into it. All right, here we go.
John's list is a little short on anti-graveyard measures this week.
Yeah?
Nothing really in the main deck. One Ravenous Trap on the board. You can count the Anger of the Gods if you want to. But a little light. Might not matter here if Tomajko can't cobble together a good draw. But
Well, I got to say, just people moving away from all those main deck copies of Surgical Extraction, we're away from all of the nonsense, for lack of a better term. Which is a little surprising to me. Ring, ring, ring. Someone's phone's ringing. Ring-a-ding-ding. Oh, baby. Padres got the bases loaded again on the top of the fifth.
who's up?
Let's take a look for you. Who do you want to be up?
Country strong Hunter Renfro.
He just singled to load the bases. Now he got up.
Weak.
Some gentleman by the name of Ty France.
Sure, yeah. He's sort of replacing Tatis for the time being.
Okay.
Yeah.
Patrick, a big Padres fan.
Yeah.
For our viewers at home. Faithless losing to get things started here for Oliver.
I mean, I'm really into just calling up a 20-year-old and accelerating his free agency date and then him missing the whole year with a hamstring pull.
Super smart.
Super smart.
Super smart.
Played great, got rewarded.
Serum Vision's here for Julian. He will draw a card and scry 2. Sleight of hand and a land are the options here, as he'll consult the grip. Does have a copy of Finale of Promise in hand, a new one from War of the Spark. Looks like Faithless Looting as well. And a good old Crackling Drake, oftentimes a Texas size 10-4. All right, both on top. Let's head back over to Oliver. No Dredge. Wow. Was he? Oh, yeah. Maybe he needed a second land. It looks like he found one.
So watching Gajewski play, I was over his shoulder when he was the backup feature match.
Okay.
When it was coming up, it was because they needed a natural draw to a second land for Cathartic Reunion.
Well,
that was very commonly the case.
Here's Cathartic Reunion. Going to dredge a Stinkweed Imp, Creeping Chill, and Narcomoeba among them. Now we go by a ley line, a mountain, and a stomping ground. Didn't dredge any dredgers. So now we're going to resolve some triggers. Of course, it was discard 2 and then draw 3. So Narcomoeba onto the battlefield. Creeping Chill will resolve. He's going to move around his graveyard to make sure everything is hunky-dory. And now we're going to head back over to Julian. It's not the best Cathartic Reunion we've ever seen, that's for sure.
Yeah, now no dredger in the graveyard. And because Tomajko took a draw step that turn, I suspect he doesn't have land number 3 to flashback to Faithless Looting. So he might have to take another natural. Well, I mean, he has to take a natural draw regardless, but he might need to draw a third land to really be able to do anything.
Well, Thing in the Ice is on the battlefield now. Oliver's going to start the turn with a Lightning Axe, discarding Old Stinkweed Imp. Next up here for Oliver is a Faithless Looting. So now it's time to dredge Stinkweed Imp. 1 is a Life in the Loam, 2 is a Wooded Foothills, 3 is a Stinkweed Imp, 4 is a Copperline Gorge, and 5 is a Stomping Ground. Let's dredge again. Faithless Looting, Bloodghast, Loam, Arid Mesa. So there's your draw 2, your discard 2. Going to be those Stinkies. The rest of these cards, of course, will go in the graveyard. Oliver will separate them up into relevant and non-relevant, as he loves to do. Get in there with Narcomoeba. Julian going to fall down at 16, and that'll be Oliver's turn. So he took care of Thing in the Ice, which is certainly important as we head back over to Julian John. Julian's going to sacrifice the Scalding Tarn very quickly, dig up a land, and we'll see where we go from there.
Interesting to see how this one shakes out. John kept, a fine-looking hand with some cantrips and a thing to play towards, with no real interaction for the graveyard. And I'm curious to see how this one shakes out here. If a hand like that's even close to good enough against Tomajko, not even really firing on all cylinders.
There's a sleight of hand. This is a Thought Scour. 1 and 2. Faithless Looting among those cards. Draw a card. A lot of cantripping, but not getting a lot done. All right, another Thought Scour. Is there a Arclight Phoenix in there? Nope. Draw a couple cards. Draw a card, pardon me. Put a couple in the graveyard. Back to Oliver. He's going to dredge Loam. He's going to get that third land finally. Prized Amalgam, Shriekhorn, Conflagrate are the dredges. Loam to the grip. And easy place to start is getting there with old Narcomoeba. So Julian John's going to fall down to 14. Loam is the follow-up. A couple of lands are coming back. Arid Mesa is 1. Mountain's 2. And maybe Mountain is going to be number 3 as he's looking to work towards a pretty large Conflagrate as Tomajko. Loam does resolve. I know there's at least 1 Bloodghast down there, maybe 2. And we already know about the Prized Amalgam, so he'll play a fetch land at Arid Mesa. Trigger. Get no. Interesting. Now, why would he do that?
He wants to end step to play around Anchor. He can still.
Kid's smart.
He can still landfall off the Arid Mesa. Get the
Yep. Nailed it. Crackling Drake's the play. There's a Blood Crypt. Now he'll get back this at the end of the second main phase, which means Amalgam should be joining, I believe. Yeah, so what he actually did was Crackling Drake, in response to Crackling Drake, sack the fetch land, and get back the Bloodghasts.
Right, because he can do this. He doesn't want John drawing Surgical Extraction off the Crackling Drake, but he doesn't have to worry about Anger of the Gods anymore this turn because John's tapped out.
Pretty smart. Is we going to dredge or are we going to draw? Going to dredge a Loam, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, with the Conflagrate in the graveyard, he's close to finishing off the game this turn.
Bloodghast, Golgari, Thug, and Cathartic Reunion were the dredges. Conflagrate still in the graveyard. And here come the Knuckleheads. So Amalgam's obviously the biggest creature. 2 Bloodghasts and a Narcomoeba would come through in most situations. Well, we'll see how Julian wants to block, assuming he wants to block at all.
And it's not really an effective way to block any of this stuff. The Narcomoeba, if you block that, you're probably just taking too big of a hit. Everything else can come back via loam. Land gets the blood gas back, or gets the blood gas back that gets the amalgam back. So no real workaround here for John. Narcomoeba is the only thing he can kill for real.
Well, Narcomoeba down. Does this game just end on the spot now? I don't think. I think Oliver can get Julian down to 1. He's able to get back a couple of lands here. Copperline Gorge, Stomping Ground, Arid Mesa. Follow up is a mountain. 6 cards in hand, so it's not a lethal conflagrate. But it can still be a pretty darn good conflagrate. Yeah, it's going to be for 5. I think we're going to see 3 and then 2 to you. Take care of that Crackling Drake.
And Tomajko, again, electing not to do anything with the Bloodghast, knowing that he needs it as he doesn't need anything extra on the battlefield right now, but he does need to protect himself against something like Anger of the Gods. Real heads-up play here.
Yeah, which Julian John does have in his hand. He's also got a Serum Visions, too. There's an island. And this is a Serum Visions. So John will start there. He'll draw a card. Found a copy of Pyromancer's Ascension. Now he will scry 2. It looks like it's a Crackling Drake and an island that he's deciding between, where those 2 cards are going to go. I think both these cards got it. Wow, he's going to keep one on top. I'm a little surprised. I thought he was going to put one on the bottom for sure. I thought he was going to put, both on the bottom. Maybe Crackling Drake is an avenue to victory, though. We'll see. Faithless Looting. That does require mana to cast. Discard 2 cards. Now here's Anger. So those creatures are gone for good. Now we're going to head back over to Tomajko. Well, Dread Stinkweed Imp, Lightning Axe, Stinkweed, Amalgam, Creeping Chill.
So with a land drop, that should do it.
Well, I know that Oliver held a land. I know that he did. He's really smart. I believe that should be lethal. It is. Oliver Tomajko plays an excellent game number 2. He ties things up here against Julian John. Dredge and Is It Phoenix getting ready for a 3rd and final one.
Played around it so easily.
He's not bad.
Smooth.
He's not bad. Not 5-0 in accident, I can tell you that much.
Smooth.
Anything change after sideboard here for you?
No, not really. Looks like Tomajko brought in the ley lines, and then there's some fringy stuff. John's got a handful of graveyard interaction, spell pierce, take it or leave it. Gets better on the play, but we're not going to be changing a whole lot here.
All right, these players are shuffling up, and while they're working on that, we're going to hear a couple words from our friends over at Ultimate Guard. Game number 3 about to be underway. Game face on for Tomajko. Take a look at that. Unfazed. Unfazed. Nothing you can do.
Just enjoying the day.
He is zoned in. I dig it. Played a really good game there. Julian John going to be on the play here for this third and final game, though. The 21-year-old from Orlando, Florida, no longer has that electric Super Saiyan hair. But he's got a lot of opens played in 2018, 19 to be exact, with 5 open top 8s last year and 1 win in Dallas, alongside Kevin King and John Rossum in a team-constructed open. 5 open top 8s, that 1 win, and he has a black belt in Taekwondo, which means he could kick my butt. That's Julian John. Getting ready to play some Is It Phoenix right now against Dredge. Nick Miller hanging out back there. No, we got Brian Gottlieb and Jerry Thompson in the future match area as well, getting their eyes on some good matches. And they'll be in the booth round 7 and 8 as we work our way through the latter stages of day number 1. I think this tournament's going to have some real shakeups on the leaderboard. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, unlike, what was the last event we covered where it was the opposite? Where our top players did not perform all that well?
I don't know. It happened. It may have been
Richmond, Philly.
It wasn't Richmond. Like, there was 8 names in the top 8 of Richmond, so it wasn't Richmond.
Right.
May have been Philly.
Yeah. So far, I mean, still very early, of course, but looking like a lot of the players in the top 8 of the leaderboard even might be competing in day number 2.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at 7 cards here. Don't forget, after this match, we take a short break. We do a time-shifted match after that short break, and then we're going to do a preview card for you fine folks at home. Review a little bit of Modern Horizons Action. We're underway. Steam Vents into Serum Visions. Pyromancer's Ascension the draw. Thing of the Ice and Thought Scour the options. Julian looking at a hand here.
So one land
only has 1 land, so to the bottom.
That Steam Vents was card number 7 in that opening hand. We're going to go with that one. We're gonna
Faithless Looting time. Draw 2 here for Oliver.
Game 3 on the play. Kind of sketchy 1 land hand, but a lot of cantrips. Never mulliganing that.
No, never.
Never.
Never mulliganing. I don't know what you think this is.
So many looks and redraws.
This is like when you told Betty in Denver when he didn't want to cast his Niv Mizzet, bro, you're gonna need to get on a different team.
Yeah, you got to find different. If you don't want to make this play, you got to find different teammates. And you know what? He cast it. And you know what?
He won.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won.
Sometimes you need a little encouragement.
Push him over the hump.
You needed to do more work in the interview process if you were going to not cast your Niv Mizzet here.
There's Pyromancer's Ascension. Second land has been found. Going to dredge a Stinky, Copperline Gorge, Prized Amalgam, Life from the Loam, Faithless Looting, and a Stinkweed Imp. 4 relevant cards to the graveyard and a land. So we can call it 5 as we head back over to Oliver. See what this second turn is going to yield. Oh, Shriekhorn. There's a Bloodghast and a Lightning Axe over there. All right, a couple Narcomoebas in the hand. Not ideal. Shriekhorn's got some real work to do.
Yeah, interesting there that Tomajko had an opportunity to go hunting a little bit. He could have played the Shriekhorn before playing the land and try to turn over either Narcomoeba or Bloodghast to get the Amalgam back. Elected not to. Slow playing a little bit.
Still an option, though, because he can do it on the end of Julian's second main phase.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah,
so
nothing has haste.
Nice,
yeah, nothing has haste, so.
Metamorphose number 2, that's Pyromancer Ascension counter number 1. Blue and a red floating here for Julian. I think he wants to make sure he wants blue and red mana, so he's good with that. There's a sleight of hand. Take a look at the top couple. Faithless Looting and Arclight Phoenix among them. And now it's a Faithless Looting. So no mana floating. 1 and 2. Arclight Phoenix is going to be discarded here among other cards. Looks like an Ascension might be headed to the graveyard too. Never mind, I think it's 2 Phoenixes. Trigger. Phoenix Party. All right, in the second main phase, I believe we're going to see this activation of Shriekhorn, Loam, and a fetch land. Tomajko might have some interest in firing off this lightning axe. And this might not even be the end of the second main phase. This might actually still be in the attack step because I don't see any life totals changing yet. He'll sacrifice the Scalding Tarn. Oliver's going to fall down to at least 19, maybe lower than that. We'll see. It'll be a basic mountain, so it will just be 19.
Yeah, hard to imagine this Lightning Axe getting a whole lot better, even though it's not the ideal target.
Lightning Axe taking care of a Phoenix. Bloodghast is the discard. Tomajko's going to fall down to 16. We're all tied up as we head back over to Oliver. We'll see if he wants to activate Shriekhorn on the upkeep or not. Looks like the answer is no. So he will dredge 3 here from Life from the Loam. Golgari, Thug, Blood Crypt, and Gemstone Mine are the dredges. Now here's a Shriekhorn activation. Down to 1 counter, Cathartic Reunion, and Prized Amalgam go into the graveyard. Next up is a little bit of loaming. Fetchland among these cards, I'm sure. Scalding Tarn, Copperline Gorge, and Gemstone Mine are the 3 cards that are going back.
Yeah, same deal as before. Want to play around the Sorcery Speed Sweeper, potentially. Although maybe Tomajko's logic here is if John wants to go untap land number 3, Anger of the Gods, that's just fine.
Might be okay with that.
Loses the Phoenix for good, and his whole turn with Pyromancer's Ascension on the battlefield.
Well,
you can hold the fetch land for a better spot down the line where you need the cover.
That's true. So Bloodghast brings back Prized Amalgam, 8 power on the battlefield for Tomajko, and now Julian John's going to take a look to see what's going on in Tomajko's graveyard. A couple of lands over there. Relevant cards, 2 Stinkweed Imps, a Life from the Loam, a Golgari Thug. Let's call it 2 Loams, and then 2 Faithless Lootings as well. Faithless Looting is where Julian John's going to start. Pyromancer's Ascension's got 2 counters. He'll draw 2 cards. It's 2 fetch lands, so John's found a 3rd land. He's got to discard a couple cards, and he actually does have Anger of the Gods in hand, but this turn he most likely won't be able to cast it. Manamorphose does change the equation. Scalding Tarn will be sacrificed here by John.
Yeah, I mean, he has it if he wants it. Doesn't have to do anything with it, but...
Say that again?
He has it if he wants it.
What's that?
Anchor if he wants it this turn.
Well, does he have Manamorphose in hand?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has it if he wants it, I think.
Okay.
I would be surprised if that's the best use of his turn.
I may have missed the Manamorphose if he has one. Let's see where we're going to start. We're going to start with Thought Scour. 2 copies. Let's do the first one. Stomping Ground, Sleight of Hand. No Manamorphose. It's a Finale of Promise in hand. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
So he may have just drawn a Lightning Bolt, I believe. Yeah, Bolt's actually pretty good here. It can kill Amalgams, plural, if Julian wants to go that route.
Yeah, John's just got to keep his head above water for a little bit longer here. Maybe just get out of the next turn, and he should be able to generate an overwhelming advantage, assuming that Pyromancer's Ascension stays on the battlefield.
Ascension is active, and John is doing a nice job of taking advantage of it so far, but will he have enough time to do that even more? Lightning Bolt could make that be the case. All right, Bolts. Again, there will be 2 of them. Where are they headed is the question. All right, Amalgam's down, Phoenix is in. Tomajko down to 10. And now Shriekhorn activation on the upkeep. Lightning Axe, Copperline Gorge into the graveyard. One thing worth noting right now is that Oliver doesn't have any black mana on the battlefield. He, of course, has a Gemstone Mine in hand. So it is in play that he can cast this Stinkweed Imp that he is dredging. Conflagrate, Faithless Looting, Leyline of the Void, Dark Blast, and Prized Amalgam. No Creeping Chills, notably. But that doesn't mean that Faithless Looting doing some dredging won't find him any. We could see a very big turn here from Oliver Tomajko.
Gotta throw a caution to win a little bit in this spot. you are so likely to die next turn that even if you guys set this up to try to spike a bunch of creeping chills, you at least got to give yourself a shot.
Well, we're going to see a Faithless Looting be flashed back. Narcomoeba, Life from the Loam, Lightning Axe, Bloodghast, Stomping Ground. Next up, assuming there's some dredging to be done, is Golgari Thug. Here come 4 cards, folks. 1 is Cathartic Reunion. 2 is Leyline. 3 is Gorge. 4 is Foothills. Once again, no Creeping Chills. Tomajko will discard 2 Stinkweed Imps. He'll get back a Narcomoeba. He'll attack for 2. Julian's going to fall down to 13. I think it might be the fetch land this time. Yeah, I like this. Scalding Tarn will be the land. Will he return the Bloodghast? Because this could be another one of those situations where he's fine with his opponent casting Anger of the Gods.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, there's 2 Arc-like Phoenixes on the battlefield. And Tomajko cracking the fetch land to set it up puts him on 9. The Phoenix is a 6-3, and now you're suddenly in bolt range.
I do like this play, too, here by Tomajko, in which he played a Scalding Tarn, didn't get back his Bloodghast, but Amalgam triggers because of the Narcomoeba that enter the battlefield.
Right.
So that means he still has... pardon me, the Bloodghast in the graveyard. Now, here's a Finale of Promise. And this is going to be for 1, but it gets copied. So what this should basically mean is it's going to be 4 1-mana spells, if I've got that right.
I think that's right. I don't know.
Oh, but what you get? So this is kind of crazy, right? Because you get 4 mana you get 4 1-mana spells, but you resolve. So you're going to resolve the first one, and also all of these cards that are being played are cards that you're casting.
Yes. So you get them.
So you get to copy all of these too. Well, this is a little wild.
So Tomajko is currently dead on. No, not dead on board, right? Because it's 2 bolts, and your Narcomoeba can block.
You got a
or
blocker,
absorb it.
yeah. So we're going to see Julian John stack these accordingly.
It's a lot of looks at whatever.
Yeah, whatever you're trying to find, you should probably be able to find here, which ideally I think in this spot is another red source and a lightning bolt. Oliver going to take a look at Finale of Promise, which makes a lot of sense. Wants to make sure this is being resolved correctly.
You can also just you have Faithless Looting as the last piece of the puzzle, so you can also cantrip a bunch, just find another copy of Art-like Phoenix, put that in the graveyard, and then win that way too. So a lot of ways to do it.
That's a pretty wild turn.
And how you have to announce it. And
yeah, he's trying to figure out the order, how he's supposed to announce all this stuff and cast these spells, everything else. It's a bit of a mess. Well, he's trying to figure it out. So Sleight of Hand's where we're going to start. And Basic Mountain is what we found. Next step, I think that was a bolt. If that was a bolt, it's easy. Bolt your Narcomoeba and bolt you. Next up is Thought Scour. Target myself twice. 1, 2, draw. 1, 2, draw. And now Faithless Looting. 1, 2. You have to discard 2 cards. Yeah, let's do it again. All right, discard those. I think he's got a mountain to play because he hasn't played a land for the turn. This is bolts, target you, and that is going to do it. Julian John's going to win this game and match here over Oliver Tomajko. 2-1. Is it Phoenix going to take care of Dredge? And for Julian John, and that game